It's on?
Yeah.
Oh, alright. So I'm gonna follow in the footsteps of a couple of folks who were doing this sort of linguistic regional pronunciation video meme thing. Just because everybody from around here even just loves to make fun of the way I sound. And when I travel, oh god, it gets so much worse. Oh my god. So I've got a list of stuff to say. The version of this that's been going around has apparently been truncated from one that was going around even longer ago, and thanks to Steve and Becca I found more questions, so this is going to be a little bit possibly longer than some that you've seen. I'm sorry, I'm kind of nervous. I'm kind of babbling. Okay, the very first question is your name and your username. This was initially for Tumblr, but I don't hold with any of that newfangled crap, so I'll just change all the Tumblr questions to LiveJournal questions. Alright, my name's Tina. My username is Tanaviel, which it seems that nobody really knows how to pronounce. I've heard a bunch of things from people from LJ I've met in real life, like, it's Tanaviel. Where you're from, that would be Yonkers, New York. Pronounce the following words. Okay. Aunt. This would be the wife of your uncle, not the little bug. I hear people say aunt a lot, and it makes me feel a little self-conscious because I don't hear anybody saying aunt really, but that's how my mom says it, so that's how I say it. Roof, root, wash, oil, theater, not theater, theater, iron, salmon, caramel. People who say caramel just make me cringe because Carmel is a city near here, spelled without the second A, and when people say caramel, I just, like, no, that's not that sticky thing, that's a place. Fire, water, sure, or sure, I say both. Data. I don't know about data. To me is a character from Star Trek. Data. Ruin, crayon, toilet, phone went off. Don't do that. Toilet. New Orleans. I've never said New Orleans, even though I think that might be how you're supposed to say it. I don't know. Pecan. I'm sorry, Esteban. I say pecan. I know that pisses you off, but it's not pecan. To me, anyway. Both. Again. Probably. Spit and image. Alabama. Lawyer. Coupon. Again, that's how my mom says it. I know that from the way it looks, it should be coupon, and I'm sure that Eric, being the resident linguist, would have a lot to say about why it's not coupon, but mayonnaise, syrup, pajamas, caught, orange, coffee. That's one of those words that everybody laughs at when I say it. Coffee, direction, naturally, herbs. I think that, I don't know if anybody pronounces the H unless they're talking about a guy named Herb. I think that the reason why there's no H, I think, there's a reason for this. I think it has something to do with French, about how, like, there was one day, I think it was in the 1600s, the reign of one of those Louis, where the French decided, okay, we're gonna stop pronouncing all these unnecessary letters, so that way we'll know that we're the big important guys, and all the stupid peasants are still going to be pronouncing their H's, and that's why I'm sure a French person would say because it's just become ingrained in French by now, and I think that these distinctions have been lost over time, obviously, but yeah, the French in the 1600s were a load of jerks. Aluminum, GIF, like I say GIF, like the picture, like GIF, like the peanut butter. Cracker Jack, doorknob, envelope, and here's something that I didn't even know what this was until people started doing this meme. Gapoi? Gpoi? Apparently it means a gratuitous picture of yourself. I guess this is Tumblr lingo. Again, I'm an old woman, so I don't know anything about Tumblr. I don't care. Okay. Sorry, nervous laughter. Okay. What is it called when you throw toilet paper on a house? You TP it. I've never done this, but people have obviously TP'd for a long time. I guess in other countries, this is what I've learned from watching these videos, they're so educational, that a lot of people from overseas were just like, oh, that's a douchebag. Who TP's a house? Well, no. They didn't say who TP's a house because they don't have TP in their vernacular, but they're like, a douchebag would do that. And I agree. I do agree. What is a bubbly carbonated drink called? Soda. And over here we say hero and not sub sandwich or hoagie also, but it's soda here in New York. What do you call gym shoes? Sneakers. What do you say to address a group of people? If I'm being informal, I'll be like, hey, you guys. If I was addressing them formally, I'd probably say, you know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Probably in that voice that makes customers at my job say, you should be on the radio because you have such a resonant voice. Me? On one side I got that, on the other side I got people saying I sound like a dude. I don't even know anymore. And then this accent would not be good for the radio. I'm sorry. People would laugh. They wouldn't listen to the show. They would just be like, ha ha, you said coffee. What do you call the kind of spider that has an oval-shaped body and extremely long legs? A daddy long legs, and they're scary as nuts. I hate spiders. What do you call your grandparents? On my dad's side, I never knew my grandpa, but I refer to him as grandpa when I talk about him. And his wife, who passed away a couple of years ago, was grandma. On my mom's side, my grandparents, my mom is Greek, so I called my grandmother Yaya, and my grandfather, in Greek, grandfather is Papu, but when I was a little girl, I could not pronounce that for the life of me, so I called him Bop. Yeah, and that sucked until the end of his life, basically. I never called him Papu. What do you call the wheeled contraption in which you carry groceries at the supermarket? I call it a shopping cart. Apparently in England they call it a trolley, which I think is so classy sounding, but I have never heard that before. I've never heard anything other than a cart or a shopping cart or anything like that. What do you call it when rain falls while the sun is shining? I've called it a sun shower, or, you know, the rain is falling and there's sun. Like, I don't know. When there's a term for it, it's sun shower. What is the thing you change the TV channel with? The remote. Choose a book and read a passage from it. Alright, I came prepared for this. I have had this book on my nightstand for a couple of months. I don't know if you guys remember. I think I might have mentioned this on Facebook because that's where all my dumb little thoughts go when that I'm not able to write at length about. Oh, apparently you can't see the book. This is that book on the Book of Lost Countryside Wisdom. It's written by an English lady, so it's mostly English countryside wisdom. This is my I'm going to be the lady who lives in the woods with little woodland creatures book. But it's really interesting, and there was a passage when I first read this that just cracked me up, so you can hear me. I mean, I'm not going to do a dramatic reading, but at least I'll be educational, funny, and utilitarian at the same time. Alright, this is about if you keep bees, what the proper etiquette for bees are, because apparently bees were thought to, like, you know, behave differently depending on how you treated them. So, the noise that the bees made was highly significant. Silence from the hive was a warning that the bees might soon swarm. On the other hand, if there was a contented buzzing, all was well. It was considered highly inadvisable to swear near the hive. Oh my god, those bees would hate me. In case you offended the bees, and they abandoned the hive in disgust. I just like saying bees. If you had to move the hive, it was wise to avoid doing so on Good Friday. Once again for fear of upsetting the bees. How did you acquire your hive in the first place? You had to do it tactfully so as not to hurt the bees' feelings. It wasn't a good idea to buy the bees. But if you had no choice, it was advisable to hand over the money, usually a gold coin, discreetly, well away from the hive. Better still was to exchange the hive for something useful, such as some wheat. But not even the wisest precautions were any good if the bees weren't told they were going to have a new master or mistress. Such a lack of consideration could result in the death of the bees. You might think this practice has long since died out, but in fact it's still performed in some parts of the countryside, and according to the people who take care of their bees in this way, it works perfectly. I would love to see somebody do that to some bees. I would stand well away, of course. I don't like bees either. Spiders, bees, not my thing. Going back to the questions. Okay. Do you think you have an accent? Even if I didn't think I had an accent, people in general would not let me forget that I've got an accent. Okay? Would you be a wizard or a vampire? Are you serious? I would not choose to be a vampire. Just in general, it's inconvenient, and then of course there's the fact that vampires are real fucking trendy, and I'm over them. I am so over vampires, you have no idea. And to be a wizard, I mean, I love wizards. I love Gandalf. I would maybe be Gandalf. I would also probably be Radagast the Brown. That is sort of, I mean, it's not like, oh, I want to be an old man. It's just that these particular old men are just so damn fly that I want to be one of them. I want to hang out with the flora and the fauna and carry a big stick and shoot things with the stick and the energy that comes forth from the stick. And I'm rambling, sorry. Do you know anyone on LJ in real life? Well, yeah. Back in the day when I was first on LJ, I had, you know, friends of mine in real life who just all, you know, in high school everyone's got one. I still have Liam's live journal on my list just because I love it, even though that boy has probably not signed in 3 years and is never going to use it again. Mindy, obviously, that's Dionysus Petals. Nathan, who's Carmen Alizarin, who's one of my favoriteest people ever. Well, both of them are. I've hung out a bunch of times with Mariah, who's Rage of Winter. Kat, who's Vesper Carpathia is Kat. Esteban, Week with the Dawn. A lot of other people who I've hung out in company with Mindy, like Sam, that's Sam Mjolnir. And I'm really probably gonna rattling off a lot of people, so I'm gonna avoid doing that. Just, I know a lot of you. I've hung out with a lot of you. I've met a lot of you once or twice. I'd like to meet more people. If you're in the area, hit me up. I don't really have much to do aside from working. End video by saying any 3 words you want. Alright, here's the word that everybody, like, makes fun of me for. Ketchup, as in the red stuff you put on a hamburger is ketchup. Not ketchup, catsup, no, I say ketchup, and apparently this is a source of great humor. Pencil. Get made fun of that one too, because I'm just like, I have just, I guess, weird vowels, so pencil. And penguin. I've never heard anyone say penguin. I don't know if I had to say earlier in that thing mountain. It just came up in Christina's video, the word mountain. I have no memory, so if I said mountain already, sorry. It just reminds me of when I was down in North Carolina, and you've probably seen this video maybe, but when I was with Kat, and there was a place that we were passing by on the highway called Rendezvous Mountain State Park, and we couldn't find the turnoff for this. We weren't going to it, but past it, and I'm just like, where's the fucking sign for Rendezvous Mountain? And this just became a thing, so, yeah, that's the way I talk. Was it what you expected? I don't know. I guess I'll find out.